I saw a stat the other day which truly blew my mind. Visits to piracy websites surged from 130 billion in 2020 to 246 billion in 2025, an increase in 89% over the span of 5 years. 89%. That is outrageous. And remember, this is based off data from people who they're telling the truth and being honest. Not everyone is going to do that. Can you imagine the numbers and the percentage increase if everyone was actually truthful? Has inflation and the rising cost of living been the trigger for the rise in piracy? Or is it the dying streaming war and the fight for exclusive content? You can't deny that piracy is back and sailing under a bigger flag than ever. So why has it happened? And are streaming services ever going to recover from this? Firstly, here's a very quick recap on the history of piracy so we all understand where it stands today. Bulletin board systems in the mid-1980s allowed people to actually share cracked software, games and media files between themselves. And during the late 90s, when most people had widespread, available internet access, piracy exploded and boomed. Napster played a huge role in this as the first mainstream person-to-person file-sharing network that focused on music. Although Napster was forced to shut down in 2001 after an unprecedented number of lawsuits from the music industry. In 2003, a group of Swedish developers created the Pirate Bay with the goal of promoting freedom of information and content, as they believed that every single piece of online content should be accessible and available to everyone. And that's hard to argue against. After police raids and legal battles, the founders were convicted of assisting copyright infringement in 2009, which does lead us into a hibernation period for piracy, where services like Netflix and Spotify boomed and rose in popularity, and piracy and illegal streaming lurked in the shadows. In fact, Spotify, which is another Swedish-owned company created by Daniel Ek, picked up the pieces as Pirate Bay crumbled. If Pirate Bay had not existed or made such a mess in the market, I don't think Spotify would have seen the light of day. You wouldn't get the licenses you now wanted, stated Per Sundin, the CEO of Universal Music. Moving into the modern day, let's take a look at piracy rates now. So in Sweden, 25% of people reported pirating in 2024, a trend which the analytics and data saw was primarily driven by 15 to 24 year olds, so it is much more popular with the younger generation. And that's interesting to me because obviously, if you're taking a look at 15 to 24 year olds, in the previous piracy and illegal content streaming era, they probably weren't alive. And it does show that with the younger generation of people, piracy is certainly becoming more popular and it's on the rise. So why are piracy sites rising and streaming services stagnating? So thinking of Netflix, last year they announced that they would no longer be allowing users to share passwords. And yes, even if you have a child who lives away to college or a university and you wanted to share the account with them, or an elderly person, let's take a look at an elderly person. If you had an elderly mother, you wanted to share your actual Netflix account with her, you would no longer be able to do it. Netflix would go on to charge a fee of $7 just to share one passcode with another user. And they did this after tweeting in 2017 that love is sharing a password, so they went back on their word and made a financial decision which was going to benefit them. In the short term, they believed it was going to benefit them. In the long run, it has significantly backfired. But you can start to see why people are not happy to part with their hard-earned money when a company completely betrays you. It's a lack of trust. You cannot go back on what you've stated. The sad part is, all of the other streamers, HBO, Prime Video, Disney Plus and Apple TV, all joined Netflix in blocking password sharing very quickly. And it's not just password sharing, it is an issue, but the bigger issue for me is the ridiculous amount of streaming services and exclusive content. For example, if you have someone who wants to watch a Star Wars film, an episode of Stranger Things, The Sopranos, The Boys TV show, Severance on Apple TV, and a Mission Impossible film, they would have to pay over $140 a month for 6 individual streaming services. And as the number of streaming services have increased, so in turn has the price everyday life. I actually saw a headline the other day which really made me think, and it was that as of 2025, produce in a US grocery store was as expensive as it was in World War II in comparison to the average American salary. So it is truly a terrible time, and it makes me wonder, what are the executives at these streaming companies thinking? when they're blocking password sharing, they're increasing the prices, a lower priced alternative, but crammed with ads. It truly takes away the point of streaming. For example, Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime have recently introduced a lower priced alternative. You get Prime Video and Amazon Prime, but if you want to watch a film, you're going to have to sit through minutes and minutes and minutes of adverts, and it's essentially cable TV or free television. It truly makes no sense as to why you would want to even watch a film or a show on Amazon Prime when you could probably watch it for free, or you could go onto a service, and believe it or not, you're still paying a fee. You're still paying, I believe it's $8 a month with the ad-supported platform. It's absolutely insane. And although Amazon Prime does have some select shows and some exclusive content, it's no wonder as to why younger people are just wanting to stream illegal, in quotation, content and pirate content. Because when you're parting with your hard-earned money and you've still got to watch multiple adverts that keep interrupting you throughout a film or your favourite TV show, it's absolutely insane. But what else is truly behind this rapid rise in piracy rates? I believe for a lot of people, it's being able to access exclusive content and shows whenever and wherever they want, all on the same platform. Let's take a look at Westworld, which was removed from HBO or HBO Max in late 2022, and after the merger between Warner Bros. And Discovery, they stated that it was due to a mix of financial, strategic, and licensing decisions. But ultimately, after this move, all 4 seasons of Westworld, a show created by HBO and loved by many fans, were removed from HBO Max in December of that year. This is like Netflix removing Stranger Things or Squid Game, even though it's an original show which is created by themselves. Truly doesn't make any sense to me. It's a selfish decision made by executives in a boardroom for financial advantages with none of the viewers or paying customers in mind. Something else worth thinking about is, let's just say you actually do. For some strange reason, you do pay $140 a month for all 6 or 7 streaming services. You've then got to look through each individual streaming service to look for a particular film or a particular show which you want to watch. That could take 10 to 15 minutes just to find a film or a show that you want to watch. It's insane. And you're paying $140+ a month for this service. It's absolutely baffling to me. To me, the streaming war summed up. They're all shooting themselves in the foot. They're all looking at the dollars and the graphs, and they're essentially being very greedy, but they're not looking at the long term. And I believe that streaming it's too far gone. The streaming war is over. It's truly gone. It's branched off into little battles. All of it's around exclusive content. It's being run, and the focus is now on original content. Look at Netflix. They do in fact have a plan for all of their content to be original, exclusive, Netflix-owned content by, I believe, 2035. Throughout the years, it's not going to get any better, and streamers aren't going to become more relaxed and want to share more of their content. They're going to get more and more greedy. But whilst they're doing this, they're losing a lot of the viewership. And whilst this is happening between the streamers, the younger generation growing up is starting to illegally stream and pirate the content that they want to watch. So, what is your view on pirating and illegal content in 2025? Do you believe the streaming services will ever recover from this? Is pirating going to rise and increase in popularity even more so with the younger generation? Or do you think physical media will have an even bigger return and play into this conversation? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments down below. I want to hear your opinion. Thank you very much for watching this video. As always guys, subscribe for more, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.